Pop music is dead. It's been dead for decades, apparently.
What?
At least, according to the most dangerous combination known to man. Every guy on the internet with a podcast, microphone, and opinions. Except me. And yet, every year, pop music somehow survives, thrives, and soundtracks your entire emotional life. Whether you admit it or not. Because pop music didn't start with TikTok. It didn't even start with Madonna and Michael Jackson. And it definitely didn't start when Spotify told you your music aura is sad beige. Pop music is actually one long identity crisis where every generation insists that they invented music. And every older generation insists that music peaked the exact same year that they turned 18. Today, we're doing the entire history of pop music, abbreviated. How it started, how it keeps changing, why people love to hate it, and no matter how many think pieces we write, pop music refuses to die. Like a cockroach, which is rude, but also kind of beautiful, much like most of my personality. Before we go any further, we need to clear something up. Pop, and what we're talking about here, is not a genre. It's not a sound. It's not a chord progression. Pop music is simply whatever the most people are listening to at the same time. That's it. That's the technical definition, and that's what we're using here in this video. It's capitalism with a chorus, which is also how I'd like to describe my student loans. Pop music is always changing because attention changes, technology changes, and teenagers get bored faster than I get overwhelmed with my Netflix queue. Pop doesn't wait for approval. It doesn't ask permission. It just shows up, dominates, and then moves on, which is honestly a level of confidence I aspire to hit, but don't possess. And that brings us to the beginning. No, not that beginning. Pop music starts with crooners on the radio. Before radio, music was mostly live, formal, and exhausting. After radio, music moved into your house. And suddenly, we had pop stars. Frank Sinatra wasn't just popular. He caused mass hysteria. Teenagers screamed. Parents panicked. Doctors were consulted. Teen Idol magazines were born. And absolutely nothing was learned. Then came Elvis Presley. And oh no, the hips. 2 of them, fully operational. And TBH, irresponsible. Adults were convinced that civilization was ending again. Not the first time, not the last time. Then the 60s happened, and pop music officially became a youth movement, which is when adults realized they were no longer the target audience. And they took that very, very personally. The Beatles didn't just make hits, they changed fashion, culture, how fame worked, and also haircuts, some of which should have been crimes. At the same time, Motown Records perfected pop precision. Catchy, polished, songs that sounded simple but hit you emotionally like a brick. Pop was no longer just entertainment, it was identity, which terrified adults. Because nothing scares adults more than young people enjoying things. And then the 70s asked one bold question. What if pop music was a lot? And the answer was a resounding yes. Disco exploded. Dance floors ruled everything. The Bee Gees were everywhere. You couldn't escape them. Rock fans hated disco so much, they held disco demolition nights across the country where they would literally blow up records instead of just, not buying them, which feels like somehow an option we lost somewhere along the way. Meanwhile, David Bowie said,
"What if music questioned gender, identity, and reality itself?"
And pop said, sure, why not? Ultimately, the 70s proved something important. People don't hate pop music, they hate how popular that music is. Then came the 80s, and everything changed. Again, MTV launched, and suddenly, pop music wasn't just heard, it was seen. Looks mattered. Style mattered. Talent mattered, mostly. But vibes mattered more. Madonna turned reinvention into an art form. The blueprint, in fact. Michael Jackson turned music videos into an art form. The blueprint, in fact. And if you didn't have a visual identity, you didn't exist in this era. Which is why every artist suddenly owned a fog machine and a whole lot of hairspray. What a friggin' era for pop music. The king and queen of pop, George Michael, Prince, Cyndi Lauper, Tina Turner. The late 90s perfected pop manufacturing. Boy bands, pop princesses, hooks designed to live rent-free in your brain forever. I did not consent to this tendency. Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, Britney Spears, LFO. Teenagers loved it. Adults hated it, which is pop music's official seal of approval. Pop music that belongs to young people is always dismissed as shallow until, 10, 15 years later when everyone pretends that they loved it all along. Pop sticks because it marks time. Then technology broke everything. Napster showed up and questioned, what if music was free? And artists said,
Cool, wait, what?
Then streaming arrived. Spotify didn't just change how we listen, it changed what becomes popular. Algorithms influence what we listen to, which
is how we all ended up listening to the same albums at the same time around the world while insisting we all have unique tastes.
Songs got shorter because apparently 3 minutes is all we deserve now. Pop music sped up.
And we all pretended we discovered artists before they blew up.
Yo, bro, have you ever heard of David Guetta?
And now, we're here. Pop music lives in clips, hooks, 15 seconds of chaos. Songs break overnight. Fame lasts 3 business days. 2 if you do something stupid. But here's the thing. Pop music is more democratic than ever. Anyone can blow up. Anyone can connect. Anyone can soundtrack someone else's life, including a guy who recorded an entire song in his car while eating Taco Bell. That's terrifying and kind of incredible. Pop music survives because it reflects us, our moods, our messes, our moments. It's easy to mock pop. It's harder to admit that it carried you through something. A rough time, a love, a breakup, or that it knows something about you that you refuse to discuss in therapy. And it does. No matter how many times people declare pop music is dead, it comes back. Always. With a new sound, with a new face, and a chorus you swear you hate. Until you're whisper singing it at a red light, hoping that no one that you know sees you. Pop isn't shallow. It's human. And honestly, that's why it keeps winning. So look, if you've ever loved a pop song that you pretend you don't, you're among friends. So subscribe. We've got issues to unpack. Mostly mine, but we'll get to yours too. You let me know, what's that one pop song that you can't get out of your mind? Once it's in it, let me know in the comments.